On the mission bus today, I sat across from Uncle Horace, who has been dead for 20-odd years. The last time I saw him was at Aunt Molly's in Fall River. On the bus, he looked tired. He was barefoot. He looked like he didn't want to talk. And when I knew him, Uncle Horace always wanted to talk. He always wanted to tell you who he knew. Horace was a man who made great claims of knowing people. Chiang Kai-shek, Julius Rosenwald, Oliver Wendell Holmes. Shake the hand that shook the hand that shook the hand of John L. Sullivan. On the bus, he was bedraggled, as if God had left him out in the rain for decades. The bus was hot and crowded. Our breath was clouding the windows. There was no room to take off our coats. At 14th and Mission, an enormous teetering woman with uncountable numbers of Safeway bags got on, and my uncle shot up from his seat, swooped his arm, and announced, "Madam, to your rest." Standing, my uncle was hunchbacked. He'd always had great posture. At Eton, he used to say, we always ate sitting to the trot, mind you. On the bus, he was so stooped over I could have set a table on him, and would have too, if I'd had some dishes. We could have had tea and crumpets like old times. Bent, drenched, broke, pilloried, my dead uncle. He slipped the woman with the bags of groceries his card and told her to come by his office Tuesday after lunch. I'm back from the club by 2:30 at the latest. Bring your checkbook, my lady, or cash. He began moving through the crowd, handing out his card. Wise up, people. Money begets money. You want to ride the 14 for the rest of your lives? And when my stop was next, I yanked the cord and got up, stood by the middle door. A moment later, an oddly soft hand enwrapped my neck. I turned to him, and he spoke as if I was me, but also as if this didn't matter, as if my being myself, whoever this was, couldn't have less to do with anything. Nobody can take them away from you, he said, his little face bunched, his shoulders rising past his ears. What? Those fingers on my neck, not holding exactly, only resting, almost as though he were gently feeling my pulse, as if I was the one. Well, the lies you tell are the only things that stay, Horace said. Truth won't get you a cup of coffee in hell. Forget about the Ritz, honey. But, I said, because of your lies, they all died broke. Hattie, Charlie, Pauline, Nelson, Dottie, Stanley, Ida, Molly. Grandma Sarah used to say that you went for everybody in town's quarters. But when it came to relations, you went for their nickels too. Oh, Tony relative in every family. You play your part, you do your share. And everyone ponied up except Irv Pincus, who could always smell a rat when a rat. Oh, still not a bad record, eh? Yes, and it was you. Yeah, it was me. Are you proud? Well, I was loaded. They all wanted what I had. I'm to blame. I'm a criminal. But the only reason you had what you had was because they gave you all their money. As I see it, a technicality. Grandpa Walt dropped dead after reading his bank statement.
Your grandfather had a weak heart, not to mention no stomach for business.
Well, your own son, Monroe, finally went bonkers. They had to lock him up at Taunton State 5 years ago.
No, sir, no so. The Ginsburgs have no lunacy.
Oh, he literally tore his hair out of his head with his hands.
Must have been on his mother's side.
You have any remorse? Uncle Horace stood up a little straighter.
A legacy, boy, a legacy. May you leave one yourself. That way you wouldn't have to steal mine. Then again, how much do you think it's worth? How about we go 70-30? Hey, go ahead, sell it all.
And Josephine?
Boy, you leave her out of this happy reunion.
I mean the humiliation.
I said leave her out.
To beg for handouts from her own flesh and blood, the very people you plundered.
No, not once did she beg. Listen, nobody didn't love Josephine. If I'd been the Boston Strangler, they'd have emptied their pockets.
And they did.
And may you for a single day of your life, for one lousy hour, know the kind of love that I...
Wait, what are you doing in California?
Shit, everybody ends up in California, boy.
The doors flapped open. 20th Street. Before he stepped down, Uncle Horace leaned to me. That old smell again of Aunt Molly's. A reek of bleach and onions. He smooched one ear, then the other.
Sayonara, turkey boy.
Horace and Josephine. This piece is a little bit longer here. And I think it'll fill in some of the details that you have from that previous story. My Aunt Josephine would slip $50 bills into the front shirt of my brother's Cub Scouts uniform. Go and buy yourself something nice for a damsel soldier. Then she'd put one of her long, exquisite fingers to her lips to let my brother know that her secret of General Grant should stay between them. And even after Uncle Horace was completely disgraced, and they were living in Aunt Molly's spare room, Aunt Josephine still did that with the 50s. Because she walked around Aunt Molly's cramped little stucco house on Wampanoag Street the same way she did her marble-floored palace way up at the top of the hill on Highland Avenue, with aplomb and grace. The fact that Horace had gone pauper didn't change her, or the paintings that now hung on Aunt Molly's walls, the paintings Josephine had hid for months in my grandmother's attic in order to save them from the public auction. To Josephine, the paintings, one of which she claimed was an early Matisse, a wispy nude, represented who she was, not who she once was. True, they no longer adorned a grand front hall like the one she used to hustle guests through with a flurry of wild waving. Oh, don't dawdle, come in, come in, come in. Yet even exiled at Molly's, Aunt Josephine's eyes gave nothing away. Not regret, never anger. Uncle Horace had a similar take. His spectacular plunge from the upper